Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon. We're halfway through the week. My name is Tess Crawley. If you've not met me before, I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist, and I'm the director of Dr. Tess Crawley and Associates, a psychology practice with our head office in Hobart in Tasmania. But we also have an office in Launceston, and we do rural outreach, I'm not even able to talk today, in several areas around Tasmania, and online therapy. As of today, hello to the Medicare rebates for online psychological services. There's a new initiative out which means new Medicare item numbers for psychological services for clients in rural and remote locations of Australia, and of course large sections of Tasmania fall under that category. So that is exciting news that those of you who are not able to attend every one of your psychological sessions in person can access, I think it's 7 out of your 10 rebatable sessions via Skype or Zoom. We use Zoom. The first, I think it's one of the first 3 needs to be face-to-face. And of course, you can have ongoing therapy without Medicare rebates if you wish. You can see us for as long and as often as you need to. You just need to chat to us about what your needs are, and you can do that by calling our head office in Hobart on 03 6223 2122, or you can jump onto our website tesscrawley.com.au, and you can contact us via the contact page. Now, I am just sharing our post this afternoon into the Stigma Rebellion, which if you notice the title of today's video, and if you're a member of the Stigma Rebellion, you might recognize that quote. If you're not a member of the Stigma Rebellion, please do feel free to hop onto that Facebook page. So you go into Facebook, search for Stigma Rebellion, and then click on the join group, and I will approve your membership. So it's open to everybody. You just need to ask by clicking the button. Now, the quote, anything worth doing is worth doing badly the first time. Now, this is one of my absolute favorite quotes, because so often we let worries about an imperfect outcome stop us from starting. Now, isn't that the truth? I'm just, before I continue on, sharing into our other Facebook groups. Bear with me 2 seconds while I do that, because then I can give you my undivided attention and my uninterrupted eye contact. If you saw yesterday's video, I am sure you are relieved to see I am no longer sporting Bride of Frankenstein type accoutrements. I'm actually amazed. I got so many comments yesterday congratulating me on an incredible costume. It wasn't a costume, it was a Facebook Live filter. So the work was all done by the boffins inside my telephone, the little people pushing all the buttons and whirring around on the little bicycles inside my phone. Hello, Nat, I can see you there. Hello. And it was no cleverness on my part other than accidentally finding the filter. So that's something for you to play around with. There's also some great filters, I think, on the Messenger app at the moment as well that you can play with. Still Halloween themed, because of course today is still Halloween in America. So, okay, anything worth doing is worth doing imperfectly the first time. In fact, is worth doing badly the first time. Now, you think about, okay, Stigma Rebellion, the group photo for the Stigma Rebellion is also very deliberately chosen because of that quote. And it's a pile of pancakes. Now, if you've made pancakes before, you know what the rule is. The first one will always be atrocious. It will be a mess. And then you throw that one in the bin and you keep going, and somehow magically the rest of the pancakes seem to turn out okay. So in life, we sometimes get caught up in thinking about the bad outcome and stopping that from letting us start our project, whatever our project might be. Even if it's cooking pancakes, we might get stuck on the first one being so crappy we might as well not bother making any at all. The reason I'm talking to you about this today is I've been thinking about something that I'm working on at the moment and how long it has taken me to get around to doing this. So I am writing a book. Now, I'm writing a children's book. It's a book about a young girl who has a very tricky childhood, and how she very bravely and confidently manages to survive that childhood while also caring for her younger brothers. And it's a book that has been brewing away in my mind for a very long time. Now, why haven't I started the book before now? I've had lots of attempts at writing lots of different books, and this book has always been the one that has been in the back of my mind for many, many years. And I knew that this was the story that would be the story for me to be writing. And some of the incidents described in the book, not all, but some of the incidents described in the book are inspired by some experiences I had growing up. So I knew that it was a story that was very meaningful to me and exciting for me to eventually get my head around writing. But what stopped me from starting the book before now? Hi Lee, welcome. Procrastination and perfectionism. That's what stopped me. For a long time, I thought I needed to do a writing course before I could write a book. I thought, well, maybe I need to do a master's in creative writing before I can write a book. So all these, maybe I need to do these things to be perfect before I start, stopped me from starting my book. And of course, I never did those courses either, because I was too busy and never had the time. So the perfectionism, the tendency to want to be a writer who got it right, stopped me from starting that particular book, from the writing process. So what I've done is I've done something else. I've decided to change my approach. So rather than letting the fear of not being perfect stop me from starting my book, I've decided that it's better to make small steps, see where it leads me, and focus on each day at a time. And I think this is a really true example of what we should all be thinking about when we've got things that are being interfered with by perfectionism. Procrastination sneaks in there when we're trying to be perfect in something we want to achieve. So for me, the procrastination was looking at university courses on writing instead of actually just doing the writing. And so what I'm doing now is I am getting up early, and those of you who know me personally might know that that's previously been against my religion to get out of bed any earlier than absolutely necessary. So I'm getting up early, getting up at 6 o'clock every morning and writing for just 20 minutes. Write for 20 minutes, get on with my day. So I look at my diary, I plan my day ahead, so I feel confident that I know what my day ahead's going to look like, so I'm not feeling so scattered when I get up and get going with the day. And then I sit down and I write for 20 minutes. And if I write lots, fantastic. If I write a little bit, that's okay too, because it's 20 minutes more of writing than I had done before I sat down to do that 20 minutes. So think about something in your life that you would really like to achieve. It might be learning to knit. It might be learning to play the guitar, or it might be starting an exercise program, whatever it might be. And think about, what is it that's stopping me from starting that project? Is it that I'm hung up on the outcome? So I know a lot of people who talk about, for example, getting healthier, and they might say, you know, I'd really like to be fitter, I'd really like to maybe lose a few kilos and feel more comfortable in my clothes, but it's so hard to get from point A to point Z, so they don't start, instead of looking at all the points in between. So for example, a lot of sensible people who might be assisting you with getting healthier in your body would talk about what's a meaningful small step to make each week. So don't focus on how many, if we use kilos as the example, because it's numbers and it's easy. So instead of saying, I need to lose 10 kilos, otherwise I've failed, say, what if you lost half a kilo this week? What if you lost 200 grams next week? What if you stayed the same the week after that, but then you lost 100 grams the week after that? Before you know it, you've lost a whole kilo. And you keep going in little steps, little steps, little steps, instead of focusing on that big number that you're struggling with and thinking, I'll never achieve that, so I might as well never start. Okay, so don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So things that are worth doing badly the first time. So it might be that my book sucks, and that's okay too. So focusing on the outcome of whether or not it's going to be any good, whether or not anybody's ever going to read it, whether or not it sells a bazillion copies, none of that matters. The important part is starting. And for me, why am I doing it? Because it's a story I want to tell. So let me tell the story. So I'm trying to, you can hear me talking to myself, can't you? You can hear that I'm coaching myself to focus on why I want to do this, what's important about this particular project for me, and then not let fear about other outcome issues, don't let that bother me. Okay, so I want you to take that message away today. If you've not joined the Stigma Rebellion, please join. I'd love to have you there. I'm noticing already that there's a little bubbling up to the surface of little conversations starting to take place within that group. People are starting to ask questions, and before I've even seen the post, other people have piped in and put in their little thoughts and their little ideas about how that person might tackle that particular issue. People are starting to make requests for vlog topics. It's a really lovely growing little community. I think there's about 70 or 80 members already, and you'd be most welcome to join, so please do. If you're feeling that perfectionism is something that's really stopping you, and you want some tips and you want some help on how to manage perfectionism, obviously a mental health professional can help you with that. You don't need to have a mental illness to see a mental health professional. There are lots of life issues that we help people with. So if perfectionism is the thing that you're battling with, let us know. It doesn't have to be my practice. It could be any mental health professional in your area. And if you need help finding one, of course you can ask us. We will help if we can. Otherwise, talk to your GP and they will point you in the direction of someone that they know and trust. That's it from me today. A little bit of insight into perfectionism and how I'm tackling my very own perfectionism. I'm quite happy to say that sometimes I'm a perfectionist. Don't look at my housework as evidence of perfectionism, because you'll not find it there, I have to say. Have a great Wednesday night, whatever you're doing, and I shall chat to you all again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.